Why can't the majority of K-pop idols sing? Let's talk about it. It's not secret that there's a stigma around K-pop, that many idols are seen more as manufactured performers than genuine artists. Or at the very least, they have weak singing abilities. Like, let's be real. To the average person, K-pop is not synonymous with talent. And it's gotten to the point where I don't even expect these K-pop companies to debut idols who can sing powerfully, like Wendy, Hwasa, or Jonghyun. These days, I only expect the bare minimum. As long as they can hold a simple tune, that's good enough for K-pop. And if they don't want you to sing, expect to have a 5-second rap in every song. It's honestly kind of ridiculous, because on paper, these idols are singers. They are musical artists who are expected to sing, but when it comes to live performances, many of them struggle vocally, and the quality often just isn't there. And sure, maybe I'm being dramatic, but I truly wish we could go back to the time where talent was at least somewhat important in K-pop. Like the Korea Times said in an article from 2024, while K-pop's high-level performances, quality music, and distinctive brands of music are commendable, critics argue that these artists, ultimately singers, should possess vocal prowess adequate for performing their own songs competently. And like Yoo Shen-young's article for The Medium stated in 2020, of the two components in the performances, the K-pop group's ability to sing is arguably the worst one by quite a big margin. It is so mediocre that it seems like the idols' auditions disregarded the singing portion entirely, focusing on just about everything else. I was scrolling through TikTok, and this girl came on my For You page and made such an eye-opening statement. We need to realize that the majority of idols aren't singers or true artists. They're performers. The majority of them can barely sing live, don't write their own lyrics, don't make their own music, nor do they choreograph their songs or have any hand in the creative process. This obviously doesn't apply to every idol, but a good chunk of them. Everything about the song-making process is handed to them, and they perform. And sure, we have a lot of good dancers these days. There may be a lack of genuine stage presence and charisma, but at least they can dance good for TikToks. But we're not going to sit here and pretend that being a good dancer is more important than actually knowing how to sing when you're a musical artist. And when you're an artist, or at least from what I expect, singing should be the most important skill an artist should have. But for these K-pop companies, it's just an afterthought. We're not going to sit here and act like these K-pop companies don't put visuals before anything else when it comes to debuting idols. The visual role has always been a part of K-pop, so I'm not going to act like there weren't idols in the past who were chosen more for their looks than for their artistic ability. But it's become so much more prevalent these days. At least back in previous generations, we had not only people who were just visuals, but we had genuinely powerful, standout vocalists. However, nowadays, it feels like only a few per generation break through as true vocal standouts that can deliver good vocals and passionate performances. I'm not saying that every 3rd, 4th, and 5th gen idol can't sing, no. But what I'm saying is, it's like this. They can either sing at the bare minimum, or they can't sing at all. And when I say idols sing at the bare minimum, I mean that they perform at a level comparable to the average person with some basic vocal training. There's little distinctiveness, emotional depth, or technical skill, just enough competence to carry a tune and blend into the production without standing out. But why do K-pop companies prioritize visuals over vocals? Well, visuals have always held major cultural importance in South Korea. Korean beauty standards, often referred to as KBS, have become a defining aspect of modern Korean culture. According to a 2015 global survey by the International Society of Aesthetic Plastic Surgeons, South Korea ranked among the top 10 countries with the highest rate of cosmetic procedures, showing just how deeply valued appearance is in Korean society. The K-pop industry reflects this mindset. The idol system markets artists as flawless, almost idealized figures, beautiful, polished, and larger than life. To sell that fantasy, companies naturally prioritize physical appearance. And it's not just within Korea. International fans also place significant value on visuals. Maybe not to the same extent, but it's still noticeable. I've seen TikToks from global fans with hundreds of thousands of likes praising a trainee purely for their looks, saying they deserve to debut because they're too pretty not to. That's simply pretty privilege in action. In K-pop, it's entirely possible to build a loyal fan base not through musical talent, but through appearance alone. So it's no surprise that companies spend far more time perfecting an idol's visuals than developing their vocals. It's very obvious that these companies have been debuting idols who have very little singing ability, and they try to hide the live vocals with very loud backtracks. But once those music show encores come, or they have audio issues, then the truth is revealed. And it doesn't even shock me anymore. Like, it genuinely hurts watching encores and performances from a group like Red Velvet, because we probably won't have that again in K-pop for a long time. A group that knows not only how to have fun on stage, but also give us genuine, good vocals. Oh, and while we're on the topic, let's talk about encores. I'm honestly so tired of seeing K-pop fans on social media say things like, "Encores aren't important, they're just for fun," whenever their favorite group sounds rough during one. But the moment a group they dislike struggles, they're the first to criticize. That kind of hypocrisy is exhausting. Now, I do agree that encores should be lighthearted and not taken too seriously. They're meant to be a celebration, not a vocal competition. But let's be real. There are some encore stages where the vocals are genuinely bad, like undeniably bad. And at a certain point, it becomes hard to ignore. Of course, no one expects idols to sound perfect all the time. They're human, just like the rest of us. But there are some performances that simply can't be defended. In some cases, the issue isn't entirely the idol's fault. It's the company assigning parts that certain members simply can't perform comfortably live. For example, I remember when Nayeon had that high note in Can't Stop Me during one of Twice's encore stages, where they performed without a backtrack. That note didn't sound too great. But to be clear, Nayeon isn't a bad singer, not at all. It was just a note that's clearly outside her natural range, yet she was given the part anyway. When that clip surfaced, she unfortunately faced a lot of criticism, but situations like this highlight a bigger problem. Idols being set up to fail vocally. The responsibility shouldn't fall solely on the artist. It's on the companies that assign them parts beyond their range. Still, clips like these only reinforce the ongoing stigma that K-pop idols can't sing live. Even in Twice's recent Lollapalooza performance, Nayeon chose to skip that high note. And honestly, that's not a bad thing. She was dancing and performing at full energy, and sometimes vocal adjustments are necessary. It's also important to understand that some idols were added to their groups primarily because of their dancing skills. I can think of several examples where members debuted with very limited vocal ability, but stood out as exceptional dancers. Many of them were assigned rap parts instead, which is a common practice. But let's be honest, K-pop rap as a whole tends to be pretty mediocre. Still, it's worth mentioning because it shows how performance ability can sometimes outweigh vocal talent in group formation. There's nothing inherently wrong with debuting an idol, primarily because they're an exceptional dancer. If their dance skills outweigh their singing ability, that's perfectly fine. The issue, at least in my opinion, is that many groups today lack balance. You'll often see one member who's a strong dancer but struggles vocally, while the rest of the group consists of singers who are, at best, mediocre. As a result, their live performances end up feeling flat, lacking passion, and ultimately uninspired. And this doesn't only apply to singing, this can also be true for rapping as well. But that's a whole different topic. And it certainly doesn't help that K-pop fans continuously give these K-pop idols excuse after excuse. If you train for years and you debut, it is only right that people expect you to be able to sing. It's literally the bare minimum as an artist. But whenever a clip, or even a whole performance, drops of a K-pop idol sounding egregiously off-pitch while singing live, K-pop stans are the first ones in the comment section making excuses. They're nervous, they had audio issues, they're tired, blah, blah, blah. When will enough be enough? You can't use these excuses for every performance. Like, it's so obvious that some of these idols cannot sing, and better yet, it's so obvious that some of these idols only debuted because of their visuals, but you can even point that out because K-pop stans will attack you. I understand you want to defend your favorite idol, but don't attack people for pointing out the obvious. But on the other hand, I do understand why some stans react the way they do when they defend their faves. A lot of K-pop stans on social media will drag groups and idols under the guise of criticism, even when it's obviously not. I remember when sserafim had their first performance at Coachella, and everybody was tweeting about it. What started as genuine criticism quickly turned into pure hate, and people dragging sserafim, and this is one of the main reasons why we can't have genuine conversations about topics like this. A lot of you don't care that they sounded bad on stage. Y'all were just sitting and waiting for an excuse to drag a group you don't like. Once we can get past that in the K-pop community, we will be able to have nuanced conversations about topics like this, with genuine criticism and not just straight up hate. But as the generations go by, the standards and expectations for K-pop idols get lower and lower, and it's just sad. Like, the expectations for K-pop artists is so much lower than Western artists. Back in second gen, it was the common for K-pop artists to sing with actual microphones and no backtrack. But now in 2025, it's standard for K-pop groups to have either an extremely loud backtrack, extremely low microphones, or pre-recorded vocals. And even if the backtrack isn't loud, it's doing the majority of the singing. And this isn't the case just at music shows. It's also prevalent at Korean award shows too. Can you imagine if a Western artist at an award show, like the VMAs, decided to just let their backtrack sing for them, or decided to turn their mic down almost all the way and only sing bits and pieces of the song? They'd get dragged to shreds. But for K-pop, it's completely normal. Like, let's take Sabrina Carpenter's and Tate McRae's performances at the 2025 VMAs, for example. Sabrina had no backtrack for 99% of the performance, and the only time the backtrack vocals came on was during the chorus. Other than that, we could hear her vocals perfectly, and she sounded good too. And I already know someone will point out the fact that the majority of K-pop idols do choreographies while they perform, but I don't think that should be an excuse either. The majority of idols that debut train for several years, and a part of their training is singing while dancing. Yes, I do understand that it is a hard thing to do, but why not change up the choreography to be easier so you can deliver stable live vocals for your performances, or just do no choreography at all, or only have choreography for some of the stage, not the entire thing. If not at music shows, I think this should definitely be implemented at award shows. Award shows are supposed to be big and grand. Yes, the majority of K-pop group performances at these award shows are, at least for me, underwhelming and uninspired, mainly because I can never hear their live vocals. I'd much rather they change up the original choreography a bit, or make it a bit easier and simpler so we can actually hear their live vocals, then they just let the backtrack do all the work for 99% of the performance. Or at the very least, let one or two members have handheld mics that we can clearly hear over the backtrack. Tate McRae danced during her performance at the VMAs, and after the first dance sequence, she was obviously out of breath as you could hear it in her mic, yet I could still clearly hear her over the backtrack. She was still stable and sounded good. Mind you, Tate McRae is not a strong vocalist at all. In fact, she's more known as a dancer than she is as a singer, and yet she still gave us good vocals and amazing choreography. She, and whoever helped her structure her stage, structured it in a way where she could not only showcase her dancing, but her vocals as well. Even though Western pop artists use backing tracks too, their live vocals are usually much more forward in the mix. You can usually hear their real voices over the backtrack. And that leads me back to my point. The standard for K-pop artists is just so much lower. Y'all say you want your favorite idols to be on big stages, especially here in the West, but they can't even deliver performances where they can, without a doubt, give us good and stable live vocals. Even if a K-pop group wants to do a choreography at a Korean award show, why not structure it in a way where you can still clearly hear them live, or have them do the choreography only for some parts of the show, and for the rest, just sing the song live? I just feel like the bar is insanely low for these K-pop artists. When I grew up, I was used to artists singing live on stage, so you can imagine my surprise when I noticed just how normalized loud backtracks and lip-syncing is in K-pop. But it seems like it wasn't mostly always this way in K-pop. Like I said earlier, the standards and expectations for K-pop idols is getting lower and lower as each generation passes. And because of that, the stigma that K-pop idols can't sing only grows as the years go by. For this video, I decided to watch some old K-pop award show performances from like 2008, and it seems like it was way more common for K-pop artists to sing live, where we could clearly hear them over their backtracks. Rain, Hyolyn, Jonghyun, even if they did have a backtrack, it was low and you could clearly hear them singing live. No need to guess. Like during the SHINee performance at the 27th Golden Disc Awards in 2013, they sang entirely live while doing hard choreography. It was obvious they were dedicated to giving a genuine, good, and passionate performance, because Minho was literally sweating on stage. He had a full face of sweat. That's how you know his heart was in it. Nowadays, in K-pop, you barely see that type of passion. I think a good example of what I expect from Korean award show K-pop group performances is IDOL's performance at the 2024 Mama Awards. It started off with Soyeon doing a solo rap. Then, when all the members came in, they all sang live, very clearly over the backtrack. It was an epic performance, and honestly, this should be the standard for groups at K-pop award shows. But let's move on. In recent years especially, the bar has dropped so low that many fans end up praising idols for doing the bare minimum. This is exactly why people say K-pop feels boring now. We barely have those exciting, dynamic live performers who truly command the stage. And another thing I want to talk about is the lack of diverse vocal tones in K-pop nowadays. Everybody sound like each other. This has kind of been a thing since K-pop began, but it's so much more prevalent nowadays. I cannot stress how important it is, at least to me, to have at least 1 to 2 members in a group that have a different or unique vocal tone. There are so many K-pop groups nowadays where all the members have such similar vocal tones. But anyway, this was just a personal pet peeve of mine, so let me know if you agree in the comments below. And a lot of people love to drag Blackpink's vocals, and rightfully so. Blackpink are nowhere near the best singers in the industry, but one of the things that makes Blackpink stand out is their diverse vocal tones. I just think that having different vocals tones in a group gives their songs texture, and makes their songs and live performances so much more interesting. Having a group where all the members share similar vocal tones isn't the worst thing in the world. But if that's the case, there should at least be 1 or 2 members who can truly elevate the group with exceptional vocals. The issue with many newer groups is that not only do all the members sound alike, but most of them are also just average singers who deliver the bare minimum. This becomes especially noticeable during live performances. When you combine similar tones, limited vocal ability, and flat stage presence, it all adds up to something that feels uninspired and, frankly, boring. But like I said, having the ability to sing is just an afterthought in the K-pop industry. So many K-pop artists rely on heavy backtracks for their live performances, and it's just ridiculous and honestly embarrassing. Even K-pop artists who I know for a fact can sing good live rely on the backtrack for Korean award show performances. Why? I can't tell you. It's just so disappointing going from watching American award show performances that are honestly great and 100% live, and then watching an award show performance from a top K-pop artist and I can barely hear them live. And I already know that there will be someone in the comments that's gonna say, you want them to always have insane vocals even while dancing. No, I do not. I understand that at the end of the day, K-pop artists are just human like you and I. However, I do think that something can be done where K-pop artists can balance having clear live vocals while still having good choreography. And if I'm being honest, most of my frustration is with award shows, festivals, or really just performances that are considered big events. While I would prefer that I could clearly hear K-pop artists' live vocals at Korean music shows, I'm not really too focused on that. And I know someone else will probably comment, well, in 4th and 5th gen K-pop, dance standards have become higher for both boy groups and girl groups. With how intense most choreographies are now, it's unrealistic to expect idols to sound exactly like their studio recordings while performing. They're human, after all. That's why there's so much backtracking and lip-syncing. But if idols went back to simpler choreography, people would just complain that the quality of K-pop is going downhill. And no, I do not expect them to sound exactly like the studio recording. In fact, I would love some live performances from K-pop groups where they change up some of the notes. That would be cool. But no, I don't expect them to sound exactly like the studio recording. And I do understand that dancing is now more favored in the K-pop industry. But why can't we find a balance for live performances? Want high-intensity choreo in the music video? That's fine. Want it for music shows? Sure. But I feel like, at the very least, when it comes to high-profile live performances, they should structure the stage where it's balanced between singing live and doing choreography. And if that means doing less choreo during certain parts, I feel like that's okay. I think the best example of what I'm talking about is ATEEZ's performance at the Melon Music Awards in 2024. I love this performance. And this is the type of performance I expect at award shows. If I'm being honest, ATEEZ surpassed my standards. The theatrics were amazing. The drums, the choreo, the way the stage was structured. I loved every minute of it. And I don't even stay in this group. 3 of the members had handheld mics, and the others had headset mics. Now I will say, you could not hear the members with the headset mics' live vocals, but the members with the handheld mics' vocals were perfectly clear. And I noticed that they gave the handheld mics to the rappers and the best vocalist in the group, Jungkook. He still did the choreo like the rest of the group, but when it was his time to sing, he did minimal dancing, and that's okay. He sounded great, and whilst I do wish I could have heard the members with the headset mics' vocals a bit more, I'd say that overall this was a solid award show performance. Everything was balanced. If you can have every member sing live, can we at least get 1 or 2 members that can give us good and clear live vocals? With most K-pop groups, you can even get that. So yes, I am very pleased with this ATEEZ performance. But anyways, this is just my thoughts and opinions. Of course, like I stated earlier, this doesn't apply to every K-pop artist, but most. If you like the video, subscribe and leave a like, and don't forget to comment your thoughts below so we can get a discussion going. Love y'all, and adios.